say it's me because everybody says we 5ckACt2Qxaw people talk a lingua no Christian ever heard, so I have to hide these pages well. Jesu writing his hard work, all my fingers ache already. My father, Gallardo, always used to say I must have a gift of Santa Maria of Roboreto, because since I was a little pup, if somebody say just 5 words, I could do their talk right off, whether they came from Terdona or from Gavi, and even from Mediolanum, where they talk stranger than dogs. Anyway, even when I met the first Alemanni in my life, who were laying siege to Terdona, all Teusche and nasty, and they say Raus and Mein Gott. Before the day was over, I was saying Raus and Mein Gott too, and they would say to me, Kind, go find us a pretty Frau, and we'll do ficky, even if she doesn't want to. Just tell us where she is, and we'll grab her fast. What's a Frau? I said, and they said, a woman, a female. Du verstehen? And with their hands they made like big tits, because in this siege we were kind of scarce on women. The ones in Terdona are in the town, and when we enter, just leave it to us. But the women outside the town don't show their faces, and then they set to cursing with words that gave even me goosebumps. Lousy, shitty Huns, you needn't think I'm going to tell you where the Fraus are. I'm no informer. Keep jerking off. Mamma mia, they like to kill me. Kill or ne cabant. Now I'm writing Latin almost, not that I understand Latin, even if I learned to read from a Latin librum, and when they talk Latin to me, I understand, but it's the writing. I don't know how you write the words. God damn, I never know if it's equus or equum, and I always get it wrong, while for us a horse is always a chivaus, and I never get it wrong because nobody writes horse. In fact, they don't write anything because they don't know how to read. But that day things went all right, and the Germans didn't harm a hair of my head, because just then some milites arrived yelling, Come on, we're attacking again," and then hell broke loose, and I couldn't think, with the cavalry going this way and the foot soldiers going that way with their banners and trumpets blowing and wooden towers tall as the trees of Burmia moving like carts with bowmen and fundibulare on them, and others carrying ladders, and all these arrows raining down on them like hail, and the others flinging stones with a kind of big spoon, and they whistled over my head like the jaculi that the Dertonesi threw from the walls. What an uproar! And I hid myself for a good 2 hours under a bush, saying, Sancta Virgine, help me. Then everything calmed down, and some men ran by me speaking like people from Pavia and yelling they'd killed so many Dertonesi that it looked like a lake of blood, and they were very happy, because now the Dertonesi would find out what it meant to side with the Mediolanenses. Since those Alamans with the Frau business were coming back, maybe not so many, because the Dertonesi hadn't exactly been idle, I said to myself I'd better clear out. So I walked and got home when it was almost day, and told the whole story to my father Gallardo, who said, You big booby, getting mixed up with sieges and the like. One of these days you'll get a pike up your ass. That stuff is all for the lords and masters, so let them stew in their own juice, because we have the cows to worry about. And we're serious folk. Forget about Frederick. First he comes, then he goes, then he comes back, and it adds up to fuck all. Anyway, Terdona didn't fall because they never got the fort, and it went on right up to the end of my story when the Alamans cut off the water, and so instead of drinking their own piss, they told Frederick they were his men. He let them come out, but first he burned the city, and then chopped it to pieces, like what the men of Pavia did, because they're dead set against the Dertonesi here. Non est like the Alamans, who all love one another and are as close as my crossed fingers, but here at Gamondio If we see someone from...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.